Okay, and we are live in 3, 2, 1. ¿Qué tal, gente de TK Odds? Yo soy Eric y aquí estoy con mi buen amigo Ray Flores de Premier Boxing Champions, un analista de deportes de combate, comentarista, anunciador. Sabemos que eres una figura importante dentro de Premier Boxing Champions. Te estoy hablando en español, pero luego vamos a hablar en inglés para que podamos fluir un poco más rápido. Voy a estar haciendo, voy a ver si me da para dar traducción consecutiva, se llama. Yo
Claro
me
que
dedico
sí.
a eso, pero la consecutiva es la que más me cuesta. If it was simultaneous, it would be a lot easier for me. So, Ray, how you been? How you been, buddy?
I'm great, man. It's great to talk with you, Eric. Hello to everyone that is watching, and very excited about what is going to be a very exciting and entertaining summer across the world of combat sports.
Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about is this upcoming event that you have on May 31st. We're going to have a clash of super middleweights between Caleb Plant against Jose Armando Resendez and the return of Jermal Charlo against Thomas Lamana. I know that Charlo has been away for a while. The last time that I saw him fighting was against Jose Benavides Jr., which was a decision victory for him. And the last time that I saw Caleb Plant was in a war against Trevor McCumbee. That was a fight that I want to watch. La última vez que vi a Charlo fue contra Jose Benavides Jr., donde ganó por decisión, y vi a Caleb Plant la última vez el año pasado contra Trevor McCumbee en una guerra que al final ganó por knockout. So tell me, these fights in paper, they seem kind of like the odds are kind of wide, when I see them at first. But I know that every man has a puncher's chance. So I wanna see, like, how do you perceive this fights that in paper they look kind of like in Spanish we say disparejas, kind of like a mismatch, but I know that they're not.
Well, here's the thing. Caleb Plant and Armando Resendiz have sparred before. Now, I don't know exactly what went on during those sparring sessions, but, there was a bit of familiarity that you have with the opponent. Now, it's different, right, compared to sparring under the lights when you're really trying to hurt someone and finish them off. So I think that you can't take too much from it, but there is a bit of familiarity on both parties. Caleb Plant's a throwback fighter. I've said this many times. He will take on anybody and everybody, anytime, anywhere, any place. He is a tremendous pure boxer that has tremendous skills, very fundamentally sound, makes you miss. But also working with Breadman Edwards and his father, Richie Plant, as well. The one thing that I know that Caleb has been focusing on in recent memory is really sitting down in his punches and trying to hurt somebody. You saw that in the fight against Trevor McCumbee, where it was, the first couple rounds were tense, and then when Caleb wanted to take over and picked up the pace, he did, and he finished them off. And that's that McCumbie's a very big power puncher, and you have to be aware of what is coming at you at all times. And Caleb was able to take him into those proverbial deep waters, and he drowned him, especially finishing him off in the 9th round.
Okay, so I'm going to try to make a summary of everything you said. Él comenta que tanto José Armando Reséndiz como Caleb Plant han hecho sparring juntos. Y eso es súper importante. Ahí está. There's Kelly there. She's commenting on the TKO's account. She's saying she loves you very much. Y bueno, comenta que José Armando Reséndiz y Caleb Plant han hecho sparring juntos. Entonces se conocen un poco, que claro, no es lo mismo hacer sparring que estar en una pelea donde tienes que probablemente finalizar a tu oponente, pero que él cree que pues sí hay como una especie de referencia tanto de ambos lados, que obviamente le podría ayudar un poco a Reséndiz, que es el underdog amplio para este combate, y que Caleb Plant sí ha estado como mejorando mucho su estilo, ha estado entrenando duro, y que él es un peleador, como quien dice, de la vieja escuela. Es un peleador que tuvo que, como quien dice, llevarse a aguas profundas a McCumbee, que era un pegador, y al final lo terminó ahogando porque pues lo terminó noqueando, pero le costó los primeros rounds, que Macumbi pues es un tipo que tenía mucha fuerza y lo logró incluso tumbar, pero pues al final se llevó la victoria Caleb Plant por la experiencia. I just made a summary of everything that you said.
Yeah.
We'll get it right for everyone. And now we got Charlo on the other hand, who is a former champion and a fighter that, you know, he's been away for a while. And he's good, just that sometimes, I don't know, for some reason he tends to let the opponent get in his head, like what happened the last time against Jose Benavides. He started like arguing with the ref with Jose, and he wasn't focused. I don't know if the change in weight, because now this is a super middleweight, is gonna bring us a new type of Jermall Charlo and his approach to the fights, because we know him, we know how good he is because he's a former champion. But what kind of version could we see of Jermall Charlo this May 31st event?
Eric, I think we're going to get the best version of Jermall Charlo, and I'll tell you why. You know, he's a two-division world champion, won the world championship at 154, 160 as well. And as you get older, not that he's old per se, but as you get into your 30s and you really start to mature physically, and it's not so easy to come down in weight. So I think that the extra, him campaigning now at 168, is going to benefit him because he doesn't necessarily have to have his sole focus during training camp on making weight. He can actually really focus on the nuances of training. And I think that the extra weight's going to allow him to bring up his speed. And also he'll be able to, you know, he's always had a big punch. And I think we're going to see that at 168, but he's fighting a guy in Thomas Lamana, who's won 9 in a row since losing to Laura. And Thomas has been in boxing a long time. He's very crafty. He's smart, good ring IQ, and he knows that this is the biggest opportunity of his life, and he has to make the most out of it on May 31st.
Bueno, haciendo un resumen de lo que dijo Ray, hay que recordar que Charlo es un campeón de dos divisiones, de las 154 y de las 160, y ahora quizás probablemente dice Ray que vamos a ver la mejor versión de Jermall Charlo, porque ahora no se tiene que preocupar por hacer peso, porque es un tipo grande, es un tipo musculoso, y ahora va a estar en super medianos en 168, lo ve muy enfocado, pero también hay que recordar entonces que la Mana es un peleador que sí perdió con Erislandis Lara ya hace un tiempo, pero ahora tiene, como quien dice, pues una racha de muchas victorias. Recuerdo incluso que estaba, I remember that he was an underdog against Juan Carlos Abreu in that fight, and he ended up winning by knockout. I may add that, Ray, to what you were saying. Entonces, es una pelea que está interesante. Y bueno, I personally think that this is a more even fight than the Resendez Caleb fight. I don't know why, but this is the one that I see that's kind of like more even in terms of what they both can bring to the table. Okay, so we covered that up. It's a great event. Where can they see this event, Ray? Tell the people.
Well, you can watch it in the United States and select country. You can watch it for free on Prime Video. So this is a free card available in the United States on Prime Video. If you're a Prime Video member, subscriber, a Prime member subscriber, you can certainly get it for free. Check it out. Premier Boxing Champions. That'll be on May 31st, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific time. Or, as you know, Eric, being to Las Vegas, if you want to make a little bit of a weekend out of it, by all means, tickets are available, AXS.com. Nothing like spending a weekend at the fights in Las Vegas as we kick off the summertime.
Ok, bueno, ahí está, ya lo saben, pueden acceder al evento a través de Prime Video si están en Estados Unidos, y si quieren ir a Las Vegas, entonces también hay todavía boletos a través de axs.com para que los que quieran asistir y ver el evento en vivo. Okay, we covered that up. Now, let's talk about a huge return in the boxing world, a living legend, a multi-time world champion, multi-division world champion, Manny Pacquiao has been announced to make a return on July 19th against the champion Mario Barrios, the 147-pound WBC champion Mario Barrios. And there's so many questions I have for this fight, Ray. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
you can help me out on this one. Like, we have a 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao who's like one of the best ever, who's been away for a while. He retired from the sport in 2021 against Yordenis Ugas, and you have this whole it's kind of like a cycle of things. Like, Yordenis Ugas beats Manny Pacquiao, retires Manny Pacquiao, basically. That's what people said. And then Yordenis fights. He lost to of course to Spence, but then he faces Mario Barrios, and Mario Barrios beats him very categorically speaking. He beat him without any problems. And now Mario is going to face a former champion and former opponent of Yordenis Ugas in Manny Pacquiao. What should I expect from a former world champion, multi-division world champion, but now is 46 years old? He's been away for a while. He's been doing other stuff. I mean, I know he has stayed active, doing like exhibition boxing against social media guys and things like that. But it's not the same when you actually fight a young, taller, bigger, meaner current champion in Mario Barrios, who has only lost to and I forgot this. Mario Barrios and Manny Pacquiao also share a common opponent in the one-time Kid Thurman, who lost to Pacquiao, a very close split decision, then reappears 3 years later and beats Mario Barrios. This is a whole puzzle that I still can't figure out, and I hope you can help me out of this one, my friend.
Well, here's the thing with Manny Pacquiao. I know that he is taking some criticism, but in my estimation, he's boxing's only 8-division world champion. He's going to be enshrined into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in June, and if Manny wants to come back, then you know what? Hey, God bless him and welcome back to the sport, because when Manny Pacquiao fights, he draws eyeballs, attention from all over the world. You know the name Manny Pacquiao, even as a general sports fan, as someone who likes entertainment. You can go to anyone walking down the street and ask, 10 people, and at least 9 of them will say they absolutely know who Manny Pacquiao is. His reach, his impact is something that we feel when he competes inside the ring. And as he now makes that ring walk for the first time in nearly 4 years professionally, because as you so eloquently pointed out, Eric, he has done some exhibitions. I actually did one of them in Seoul, South Korea against DKU some years ago. But I'm going to be curious to see, does Manny have the pop still? Does he have that ability to dart in and out? Mario Barrios, this guy is never in a boring fight, always entertains. Win, lose, or draw, you know that you are going to get a quality and entertaining performance from Mario Barrios. I like this fight for both guys because here's Manny Pacquiao coming up and fighting a guy who, Mario Barrios, he does get hit a bit more frequently than what you would hope. But for Barrios, you know that Barrios is going to be extremely offensive, not going to be hard to find. But I also think that Mario Barrios has underrated boxing skill as well. You mix all of those ingredients together, and I think we get a compelling night, a compelling main event on July 19th in Las Vegas.
Ok, resumiendo lo que dijo Ray, obviamente el nombre Manny Pacquiao es un nombre que resuena no solamente con los fanáticos nosotros del boxeo, sino con fanáticos del deporte en general. Es un señor que jala atención, que jala ojos al deporte, y hay que ver qué trae Manny a la mesa luego de estos 4 años. Y como él dice que bien yo comenté, él sí ha estado haciendo eventos de exhibición. Incluso Ray cubrió uno que fue en Corea. Y por el otro lado entonces está Mario Barrios, que es un peleador que nunca está en una pelea aburrida y que quizás, bueno, esta oportunidad le abre a él muchas puertas, muchos ojos, y que, bueno, hay que ver qué tipo de guerra nos pueden presentar, porque a veces Mario pues se deja golpear más de lo que uno esperaría que le golpearan, pero es que es un peleador muy entretenido. Y por el otro lado hay que ver si todavía está ese pop, esa fuerza en la pegada de Manny, y a ver qué traen entonces para el 19 de julio. In that same card, we're going to have a very interesting rematch between Sebastian Fundora and Team Sue. And that there's so many questions that I have for that fight as well. We have a question here from Carlos Ballesteros. He says, I just see this as a Manny getting a freebie check again. Do you guys think the same? Or is it actual last run towards a good title run?
Oh, look, Manny, I think this is Manny's way of trying to show that even from 4 years away from the sport, at 46 years of age, he could be a welterweight world champion. I just think that he misses competition. I mean, Floyd has still done exhibitions, but Manny just has this desire, this zest to want to compete at the highest level. And the fact that, look, the WBC, sanctioned him. I think they made him what, the number 5 contender in the rankings, if I'm correct. So if all the parties involved have agreed to it, then let it happen. And we can fully assess the fight after it takes place. But how many times do we watch fights, Eric? And do we watch events and we're like, on paper, it looks like it should go one way, but then it goes the completely the opposite way. It happens more times than not in combat sports, especially compared to that of the team sports.
Exacto. Resumiendo lo que dijo Rey, bueno, él dice que él siente que en este caso, pues Manny Pacquiao quiere demostrar que a pesar de que ha estado fuera del deporte por este tiempo y que tiene 46 años, que él aún puede competir, que él aún puede estar peleando en un nivel alto. Y pues también pues el tema de que incluso pues por ejemplo Floyd Mayweather estaba haciendo exhibiciones, pero Manny sí quiere competir como tal. Entonces eso vendría siendo pues lo que, respondiendo a la pregunta que hizo Carlos, que tenía que ver con que si solamente era un cheque o si él realmente sí sentía que podía competir a un nivel mundial, que está rankeado número 5 y bueno, pues por algo es.
And also, Eric, real quick before, is that look at Rolly Romero and Ryan Garcia. Rolly was a massive underdog coming into that fight, and everyone was saying that Rolly had no shot. Rolly believed on himself. He was relatively quiet during fight week, and he went out and he handled business, and he defeated Ryan Garcia in convincing fashion. So that's why I'm saying let the fights play out, and then we can make our assessment. You might say so-and-so is a heavy favorite. I understand that, but do not criticize a fight until after it happens, because you might get a completely different result that you couldn't even thought about.
Exacto. Y la otra parte de lo que estaba diciendo era que hay que esperar a que las peleas se den, porque muchas veces pues nosotros, sobre todo pues, los que analizamos y que predecimos lo que puede pasar en una pelea, a veces decimos una cosa y pasa totalmente lo opuesto, como el caso de Rolly Romero, que hace pues un par de semanas era un super underdog contra Ryan García y fue a la pelea y se encargó de Ryan sin ningún tipo de problema, y es lo que él dice, ¿no? Que a veces uno predice, pero hay que esperar que la pelea se dé, porque muchas veces pasa lo opuesto de lo que todo mundo está diciendo, porque todo el mundo tenía a Ryan para ganar ese combate y Rolly Romero nos demostró lo opuesto. Ok, aquí dice, Ray, who's your top 5 in boxing at the moment? Also now, yeah, we're actually gonna get to that part, but first I want to talk about the staying in that same topic. We're going to talk about Team Sue and Sebastian Fundora 2. We all know what happened on the first fight. Team was doing really good the first couple of rounds. Then the elbow hits the forehead of Team Sue. He starts bleeding like a I don't know, like a pig,
like a
honestly.
Yeah, it was like a faucet.
And oh my God, and I mean, I don't want to say that completely changed the I don't know, the way the match was going, but we also know that it definitely causes some sort of influence in the performance of Team. Also, I have to point out that afterwards he was making a comeback against Murtazaev, and that didn't turn out too well for him. But I think that Murtazaev, and we're not talking about him, but he's like a dark horse in this division. Like, people don't know much about him, but the guy is a power puncher. He's a problem. And then he makes another fight against Joy Spencer and takes care of business in 4 rounds. Now we get this rematch again. It's gonna be in this side of the world, in the States again. And now I just don't see it the same way as the first time, because I see a Fundora that's, long, mean. He has this reach advantage. He has a one loss via KO against Brian La Bala Mendoza. But now, I mean, I don't know. I just don't see the same Team Sue as I used to, because of what I saw against Murtasala. So that kind of, it's not clear for me who's the super favorite, because in the first fight, Team was like an 8-1 favorite, and now I don't see it that way. I think this time around, Fundora might have the advantage here. What do you see here, Ray?
Why I see that there's a reason why Fandora is likely going to be a sizable favorite in this matchup against Tim Tszyu, because since that fight with Tim Tszyu, or and even during the fight with Tim Tszyu, we saw Sebastian Fundora get better right before our very eyes. Not that he wasn't, but he was making some relatively a lot of the same mistakes in his fights. He was getting hit clean at least once or twice, and it cost him, as you mentioned, against Brian Mendoza, but he was able to flip the switch in that matchup against Tim Tszyu. It was, I think, one of the first times that Tim Tszyu had ever really dealt with adversity, and he fought his heart out and showcased his world championship, desire and his motivation, that it wasn't just for the money, because he could have easily packed it in and not continued. Instead, he fought 12 hard rounds, but the cut did affect him, and Fundora was able to capitalize. Since that time, we've seen Fundora put away his opponents. Tim Tszyu did lose to Moltozaliev, but did come back in a bounce back performance against Joey Spencer. I think we get the most motivated Tim Tszyu that we've ever seen, but I also think we have a Sebastian Fundora who believes. This guy knows he's a world champion. He knows he belongs here. He's been main eventing the last couple of events. This guy is dealing with and has a lot of momentum. And momentum and confidence and self-belief is so hard to stop in combat sports. Tim Tszyu is on the comeback trail, but he's going to be dealing with a very motivated and a very confident Sebastian Fundora on July 19th.
Ok, él dice que obviamente la primera pelea sí, vimos lo que estaba pasando, que Team Tszyu lo estaba conectando muy bien en los primeros rounds, luego viene el corte, sucede lo que ya sabemos, pero aparte de eso, pues también Fundora puso de su parte y pudo cambiar un poquito el guión de lo que estaba pasando en el combate, y al final se terminó llevando la victoria. Con Murtasalev sí, le va mal a Team Tszyu, pero ahora regresa con Joy Spencer, y tenemos un Team Tszyu que por un lado viene como que tratando de volver a obtener ese momentum, pero tenemos entonces también un Fundora que tiene, como quien dice, todo el hype de su lado. Acabó con su último oponente, entonces esta pelea está bastante complicada, pero Fundora como que está teniendo quizás un poquito más de empuje, y Tim ahora tiene, como quien dice, que tratar de subir la loma para que este combate sea lo suficientemente parejo y lo suficientemente 50-50. Okay, a very nice card that we have on July 19. I'm pretty sure you're also gonna you're gonna be there covering that out, right?
I'm excited about it. I can't wait, Eric. I mean, what a way to begin the summer with May 31st. Then we have July 19th, plenty of good fights in June and August as well. It sounds like, so away we go.
Okay, now talking a little bit about the pound for pound situation. We know, and that was like the question that Kelly had for you here, or at least the top five. She was asking for a top five. We already had a couple of weeks ago the Naoya Inoue performance, which was pretty good in my estimation. Yeah, we had the Canelo fight, not so exciting. And we also know that we're gonna have the Usyk versus Dubois rematch in the UK, and possibly in the future Crawford against Canelo in September, I believe is going to be. I still don't know the exact date. So what's your landscape in terms of the pound for pound situation? Because I know things have been moving around a little bit lately.
Well, I mean, you got to look at it, to me, until he gets beaten, especially his ability to go up in weight last year. And it was a performance that I don't think it's talked about enough. I believe it will be as we get closer to the fight. But to me, Terrence Crawford is still number one based on what he was able to do going up to 154, unifying 147, going up to 54, and beating a very determined Israel Madrimov. And then you got to look at, to me, you put in a way, I don't really have a number system per se, but from a top five standpoint, I look at, in a way, I look at Crawford, I look at Canelo, I look at Usyk, and then my fifth one is just kind of out in the air. I mean, maybe like a David Benavidez and things along those lines is what I would say, because he was able to go and did fantastic at 68. Now going up to 175, beating David Morrell, another guy that was very motivated and undefeated coming into that fight. So, I mean, to me, that's just me thinking off the top of my head, top five pound for pound guys.
Ok, ahí está, lo tienen. Él dice que él no tiene como quien dice un número específico para cada uno, pero él siente que Crawford, por ejemplo, lo que hizo al subir a 154 y unificar 147, le da como una posición bien arriba. De ahí vendría entonces Naoya Inoue, Usyk y quizás también entonces tendría por ahí a David Benavidez quizás. Que lo hizo muy bien en 168, pero ahora está en 175 y logró esa victoria sobre David Morrell, que también venía muy motivado. Okay, and then we got, speaking about pound for pounds and top fighters and all that stuff, we know that there's going to be a fight on September between Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Crawford. And I know you know these guys very well. These two fighters are very well known, both undisputed in their respective divisions. They've done history. Crawford became undisputed in two divisions, if I'm not mistaken. Canelo is the current undisputed at 168 pounds. Is this just a money fight, or is this a legacy fight, or what is this going to be for? Because at the end of the day, I guess that Crawford is going to go up to 168 to fight Canelo, and Canelo's gonna just stay in his same weight class. Yep. And I don't know what should I expect from this fight.
It's a legacy fight, Eric. I mean, this is a fight that has the two of the world's best pound for pound fighters getting inside the ring and colliding. And yes, Crawford is going up two divisions because he's only been at 47, or he beg your pardon, actually was at 35. That 35, 40, and 47, and now going from one stint at 54, going all the way up to 168. Now, if this was only a period of 3 or 4 months, I would say there's cause for concern. But this was in the works since dating back to last summertime when Terrence Crawford fought Madrimov. So he had an idea, if he was able to win, that he could at least put himself in line to fight the great Canelo Alvarez, even if he had to go up to 168. For Canelo, though, the issue that he's going to be dealing with, which is why this fight's so compelling and just so there's so many ways it could go, is because does Canelo in his mid-30s still have the motor to be able to cut off the ring and deal with a very slick and dynamic boxer puncher that can make you miss, that's quick, but's also powerful? Does Canelo have that ability to cut off the ring and impart his physicality upon what we would think to be the smaller man entering the ring on fight night in Terrence Crawford?
Ok, entonces resumiendo aquí, dice Ray que Terrence Crawford es un peleador que pues obviamente empezó incluso en 135 libras y ahí empezó a subir hasta las 147 donde unificó, y ahora el año pasado entonces subió a 154 casi que para probarse a sí mismo que él podía, como mantenerse ahí contra alguien más grande que él físicamente. Al ganar, entonces eso le da como cierta confianza de que él cree que puede pelear contra el gran Canelo Álvarez, que hay que ver si la mitad de sus 30, sus mid-30s, a sus casi 35 años, va a tener todavía como que esa habilidad de poder cortar el ring y moverse y golpear a un peleador que es tan elusivo y slick como Terrence Crawford, que tiene obviamente mucho más boxeo y muchas más habilidades que Canelo, y eso es lo que hace el combate quizás, ¿cómo sería la palabra? Compelling, o sea, competitivo, pues, para ambos lados, para lo que se viene entonces en el mes de septiembre. We have a question here. If Crawford loses, do you think this takes away from his history as champion, or just the fact that he's taking up on the challenge makes it even bigger?
I think it all depends on how he loses, Eric. If he were to lose, like how would he, if does he get knocked out? Does he get stopped? When does he get stopped? Was it a competitive fight up until that point? So it all depends on the manner in which he were to lose. Does he take Canelo to a decision? Is it a lopsided decision? How much punishment does he take in the fight? I don't think it'll diminish his legacy much because here's the deal. He's the smaller man going up 2 weight classes. It's that mentality, as we always hear, especially from the old school fighters, dare to be great. Oscar De La Hoya mentions it many times. I mean, him having, the golden boy, the gold medalist and multi-division world champion, dare to be great. And the greats certainly do that. Floyd Mayweather did the same did the same deal. Dare to be great. Go up in weight class. Manny Pacquiao, dare to be great. 8 division world champion. We'll find out with Terrence Crawford coming up in September.
Ok, la pregunta aquí era, si Crawford pierde, ¿tú crees que eso le quita algo de su legado, su historia como campeón? ¿O simplemente es el hecho de que él está, obviamente, poniéndose para este reto que lo va a hacer incluso más grande si logra salir airoso? Y Rey comenta que eso va a depender mucho de cómo suceda en caso de que pierda. Si él estuviese para perder la pelea, va a depender de si lo noquean temprano, de si iba ganando bien la pelea, de si estaba siendo competitivo hasta que sucede el knockout, en caso de que Canelo lo noquee, pero que eso va a depender de lo que pase en la pelea, porque en este deporte hay que atreverse a ser grande. El dicho es dare to be great, como lo fue con Oscar de la Hoya, que fue olímpico, ¿no? Y que luego también empezó en los pesos más chicos y luego empezó a subir poco a poco. Igual Floyd Mayweather, que también fue olímpico y luego fue subiendo poco a poco de categoría. Así que eso es lo que hay que ver cuando se dé el combate. All right. Ray Flores, tell me, what's your expectations? Because I heard, and this is the last thing that I want to ask you because I just saw it. I heard that there's going to be a rematch between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach. Is that news already?
That's what I'm hearing. I don't know if it's official yet, but that's what I'm hearing. I mean, it's all over the interwebs, as we like to say, especially social media reporting, and there's various reports. And I hope that's the case. I hope it's in August. The first fight was tremendous. I think the second fight will be even better. I think we have both guys that have tested each other and pushed each other to the limit. And also, I think, Eric, is that it's sort of it's a rivalry between both guys because they're both from the East Coast part of the country. So I think that plays a little bit of a factor into the whole dynamic. So I love it. I think they both bring out the best in each other. And people were always wondering, who was going to be, could there be a guy to push the great Gervonta Davis to the limit? Was it going to be Ryan Garcia? The answer was no. Who was it going to be? Was it going to be Pitbull Cruz if he got the rematch? Obviously, that hasn't happened, but Lamont Roach has turned out to be the guy to push Gervonta Davis to the limit. Now, what are we going to see in the rematch? I'm sure we're going to see a Lamont Roach that as determined as ever, that understands and believes that he should have gotten the first victory, and he's trying to prove everybody that the first fight wasn't a fluke for Gervonta Davis. He wants to get back to that old school, incredibly entertaining knockout artist that people expect out of him. I can't wait, man. It's going to be another barn burner.
Bueno, resumiendo lo que dijo Rey, él comenta que parece que esos son los rumores de lo que se está diciendo en internet. Y esta es una pelea muy interesante porque ya sabemos lo que pasó en la primera pelea, porque ya por mucho tiempo había estado esta pregunta, ¿no? De quién va a ser el que va a poder llevar al límite al gran Gervonta Davis, que primero fue Ryan García y la respuesta fue no. Y de ahí entonces vino esta nueva rivalidad que tiene entonces ahora Gervonta con Lamont Roach, y que los dos son de la costa este, de East Coast, right? East Coast.
Yes, East Coast.
East Coast, de la costa este de Estados Unidos. Entonces hay que ver qué puede pasar en este combate que está pintando para hacer para el mes de agosto. Lamont Roach se siente muy motivado porque él siente que él debió haber ganado la primera pelea y pues Gervonta Davis obviamente tiene mucho que demostrar. I think Gervonta Davis has a lot to prove in this rematch because he was the super A side. He was like a minus 1,500 favorite, and he gets a draw. And I don't know. I mean, I love the fight. I love the rematch, and I love that it's been made so quickly because we don't want to wait too long for rematches when they are, you know, that compelling, that close in general terms. Ray, it's been an awesome time here talking to you. For those of you who don't know, and I always say this, guys, if there was no Ray Flores talking to me in my ear saying, hey, man, you should do predictions. You should start doing predictions on MMA and boxing because you hit this crazy stuff. The first time that I talked to Ray about a prediction was when Canelo was facing John Ryder, and I told Ray Flores, yo le dije a Ray Flores, I told Ray Flores, I think Canelo is going to go to distance with John Ryder. And Ray Flores said, what? You're crazy, man. That's not going to happen. Yo le dije a Ray Flores, oye, yo creo que el Canelo se va a las taretas con John Ryder. Me dijo, estás loco, eso no va a pasar. And then afterwards, at the end of the night, he was working in a show here in Panama. And he came to me and he's like, man, no way, Canelo went to the scorecards. And I was like, I told you, man. And then that night, we were with my team, we were with Kelly, we were eating, we were having a great time and saying, man, you should start doing this for a living. Yeah, deberías hacer esto, deberías dedicarte a esto, dedicarte a dar predicciones. Haz esto. And I was like, okay, that sounds kind of crazy. That sounds kind of like, in my mind, I mean, you know, I have a company, I have other businesses, but doing this for a living, like doing predictions and actually, you know, making people money, and all these people that are here in the chat, they all make money thanks to the predictions that I have, and I have a subscription team and all that stuff. All of that stuff wouldn't be possible if Ray Flores didn't tell me, go for it, man.
Well, you did a great job on your own, man. I mean, you have a gift, you have a knowledge, you have an aptitude for it. And I'm just like, man, I mean, it's great that you're telling me, don't get me wrong, but tell the world, because the world can certainly, you know, utilize, you know, your knowledge and your expertise. And I think it's only going to continue to grow and you know, ascend and keep reaching bigger and better heights, my friend.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago. I remember. That was in 2023.
Unbelievable, man. Time flies.
Ray, you know, you're more than welcome to come to Panama. If you ever want to come, if you ever want to have a good time here, you're more than welcome to my city. And who knows, maybe this year I might go to Chicago. Who knows?
Let me know, man. Hey, come during football season, especially, man. The Chicago Bears, the season starts in September. They just had the schedule released. And you know what? I know you're doing your fight predictions, but I'm telling you, Eric, you're going to make a lot of money on the Chicago Bears because the Bears are going to be a force to be reckoned with this year. Believe you me, the underdogs are finally going to take a hold of the NFC North. That's for sure.
Okay, guys, if you bet on NFL, that's your prediction right there. Ray Flores with the Chicago Bears. This says Kelly's saying, Ray, we miss you. Come to Los Años Locos. Que a lo que le gusta la NFL. A lo que le gusta la NFL, dice que los Chicago Bears pueden ganar este año y ya es el schedule o las fechas ya van a salir para el mes de septiembre. Ray, thank you so much. I really appreciate you and your time. We know you're a very busy guy. You're always with events and stuff, and we appreciate this time very much, man, my friend.
I always appreciate Eric and hope to talk with you. Maybe we'll talk when I'm in Las Vegas for Plant and Resendiz and Charlo and Lamano. So let's try to make some time to a talk when I'm out in Las Vegas doing Fight Week stuff.
I'm putting that in my agenda right now, my friend.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. I'll talk to you from Las Vegas in a couple of weeks, all right?
Señores, Ray Flores from Premier Boxing Champions. It's been a great evening talking about boxing. See you on the next one, Ray. Hasta luego, chicos.
Later, Eric.